Lesson 8. Lists. A list in Python is much the same thing as an array in Java or C or any other language. It's an ordered collection of objects. You create a list by enclosing a comma, separated list of elements in square brackets. Python lists can contain different types of elements. A list element can be any Python object. First element is a string, second is a number, third is another list. Python starts counting lists from 0, asking for element 0, returns the first element of the list, asking for element 1 returns the second element, and so forth. If indices are negative numbers, they indicate position counting from the end of the list, with -1 being the last position in the list, -2 being the second to last position, and so forth. You can cut a fragment of the list by entering 2 indexes. Python can extract or assign to an entire sublist at once, an operation known as slicing. Instead of entering list and index in square brackets to extract the item just after index, enter list and index 1, index 2 in square brackets to extract all items including index 1 and up to, but not including index 2 into a new list. If the second index indicates a position in the list before the first index, this returns an empty list. When slicing a list, it's also possible to leave out index 1 or index 2. Leaving out index 1 means go from the beginning of the list, and leaving out index 2 means go to the end of the list. You can use list index notation to modify a list as well as to extract an element from it. You can use slice assignment to do a number of different things. For example, append list to end of list. Append list to front of list. You can use append method to do appending a single element to a list. One problem can occur if you try to append one list to another. The list gets appended as a single element of the main list. The extend method is like the append method, except that it allows you to add one list to another. There is also a special insert method to insert new list elements between 2 existing elements or at the front of the list. Insert is used as a method of lists and takes 2 additional arguments. The first is the index position in the list where the new element should be inserted, and the second is the new element itself. The del statement is the preferred method of deleting list items or slices. The remove method isn't the converse of insert. Whereas insert inserts an element at a specified location, remove looks for the first instance of a given value in a list and removes that value from the list. If remove can't find anything to remove, it raises an error. You can catch this error using the exception handling abilities of Python. The reverse method is a more specialized list of modification methods. It efficiently reverses a list in place. Lists can be sorted using the built-in Python sort method. Sorting works with strings too. The default key method used by sort requires that all items in the list be of comparable types. That means that using the sort method on a list containing both numbers and strings will raise an exception. Python also has the built-in function sorted, which returns a sorted list from any iterable. Sorted uses the same key and reversed parameters as the sort method. It's easy to test if a value is in a list using the in operator, which returns a Boolean value. You can also use the converse, the not in operator. To create a list by concatenating two existing lists, use the plus list concatenation operator. Use the asterisk operator to produce a list of a given size, which is initialized to a given value. You can use min and max to find the smallest and largest elements in a list. If you wish to find where in a list a value can be found, rather than wanting to know only if the value is in the list, use the index method. It searches through a list looking for a list element equivalent to a given value and returns the position of that list element. Attempting to find the position of an element that doesn't exist in the list at all raises an error. Sum method sums elements if they can be added together. Count also searches for a list, looking for a given value, but it returns the number of times that value is found in the list. And we've reached the end of the next lesson quite quickly. The next lesson will be about tuples.